Hey, 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 happy holidays. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com. So, welcome aboard. Happy holidays. It is Christmas week. Tonight is Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. This is live stream 732. So, welcome aboard. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out super casual around here. Just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. We are not performing rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. Just hanging out, having some fun, and then we're going to take a look at a tabletop game. Tonight, I'm going to unbox and take a first look at Valeria Card Kingdoms 2nd edition from Daily Magic Games and some other goodies for the game as well. So that is going to be after the news. So keep that in mind. If you're tuning in for the first time and you want to check out the 2nd edition of Valeria Card Kingdoms, it'll be in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, because we tackle the tabletop gaming news first. If you are watching 30 minutes or more after this stream ends, then there will be timestamps. You can just jump ahead if you don't want to check out the news. But there's some pretty cool stuff going on in the gaming news tonight, too. So you may not want to skip ahead. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review for the Rune Quest starter set, which is right behind me. That is going to be up this weekend, and I'll give you a hint. It's pretty damn good. And, of course, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. Chat's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe you've got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in, and I will do my best to respond. So, first out the gate tonight was Clint Gibson. The Motor City Madman is with us as well. Yes, the Madman is one of our chat moderators, so he's with us. Who else we got? We got a few people popping in. Our other chat moderator, Flaming Huron's, with us as well, and I think that's caught up with who's popped into chat so far this evening. Nope. See, as soon as I said that's it, then Bruno Azevedo joined us once again in chat as well. So after the news, I'm going to mention how things went with the 50/50 holiday auction to benefit Extra Life. So I know some folks are a little curious about that. So I will share how that went, as well as what am I going to do with all these other games that nobody bid on. I'll tell you about that as well. But first, let's jump on into the news because heading into stores from Rio Grande Games is free ride. Here's the scoop. Around the end of the 19th century, a growing network of railway lines was built in Europe, allowing people to travel to the major cities to visit beautiful structures influenced by Art Nouveau and historicism. In Free Ride, you're one of several people in charge of building railway lines, connecting the cities in Europe and carrying passengers to those cities. The game board shows 45 cities connected by a network of potential routes, and all railway lines built will be one of three types: lines owned by you, lines owned by fellow players, and state owned lines. When you travel along railway lines, you pay nothing to travel on your lines and state owned lines. To travel on a fellow player's line, however, you must pay them 1 coin, ka-ching, which converts their line to state owned. From then on, traveling on that line is free for all players. As coins are limited, you should carefully balance the building of your lines with the conversion of fellow players' lines to state owned lines. How many times am I going to say the word lines? Saying the word lines more than an episode of Miami Vice. Where do you want to build? At the start of play, each player drafts part of a travel route. Multiple travel routes are available for choosing, and each travel route consists of 3 cards. When you choose a route, boy, are we using that word a little too much in this paragraph too? You take either the first and second cards or the second and third cards as your starting and ending point in that order. Return the unchosen card of that route to the box. Place your train on that starting location. On a turn, take one of 3 actions. Spend up to 2 construction points to place 1 or 2 rails from your personal supply on the board on vacant spaces, optionally spending 1 coin to buy 5 more rails from the supply before doing so. Rails cost 1 or 2 construction points to build. You must finish a line between cities before starting a new one. Ride the rails, moving your train from one city to another over completed railway lines, paying an opponent if necessary, up to 2 times. If you reach or pass over the destination city of your travel route, you place the 2 cards of that route face down in front of you. You can then claim a new travel route, but only if your train is in or passes through your chosen starting city for that route. When city cards start to be drawn from the second 45 card deck, you can now have 2 routes underway. When city cards start to be drawn from the third deck, you can move from one city to another up to 3 times on a turn. And finally, if you have either no rails or 1 rail, you can take 5 rails from the supply at no cost. Once the third deck is empty, you can either withdraw from the game with uncompleted routes, returning those cards to the box, or keep taking turns until you finish all your routes, at which point you immediately gain 1 coin and withdraw. In either situation, you earn 1 coin and do nothing else on each subsequent turn. Once all players have withdrawn, you tally your score, earning 3 points for each coin, 5 points for the first card you have of the city, and 2 points for each other card you have of a city. Each of the 45 cities appear once in each of the 3 decks. Whoever has the most points wins. Free ride is for 1 to 5 players, ages 10 and up, plays in 50 to 90 minutes, and it does carry an MSRP of $59.95. So this is supposedly arriving in stores, which to me probably means early January, but that's just me. So Clint Gibson says, who's doing lines? Free ride is. We just talked about it. Following a successful Kickstarter, Cult of the Deep is on the horizon from BA Games. Here's the deets. You are a cultist trying to establish your faction's rise to power. Fight over rituals and mythical monsters as you seek victory and control of the cult. Each player is given a role that will remain hidden throughout the game, except the High Priest. This role will determine your win condition. With the High Priest, root out corruption in the cult, kill all Kabbalists, the heretic, and survive. The Kabbalists seek to take control of the cult, kill the High Priest. The faithful protect the High Priest from threats to their power, kill all Kabbalists, the heretic, and the High Priest must survive. And then there's the heretic. Burn the whole cult to the ground. Kill the entire cult, yourself included if necessary. Each player will also be given a character card that determines their starting health, special ability, and a power symbol that provides an additional way to gain life from the dice. A secret sigil card, which gives each cultist a once per game power, will also be given to each player. Player will take a turn by first rolling their dice up to 3 times. They then decide where to commit their dice. To rituals to gain alter effects to temporarily empower themselves. Finish a ritual in order to gain its powerful effects permanently. Stab other cultists. Gain life or give life to other cultists. If a player is killed, they're not eliminated. Instead, they become a wraith. They'll roll dice on their turn, just less. They can't commit dice like normal, but instead haunt the dice of enemies and allies by giving, replacing, or discarding dice. Cult of the Deep is for 4 to 8 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 45 to 75 minutes. It does carry an MSRP of $45. It is supposed to be releasing the week after Christmas, is when it's supposed to be in stores. You may recall I did a Kickstarter preview of Cult of the Deep, and I found it a very interesting game. I thought the artwork was pretty well done. It's got a pretty wild vibe. It's got a lot more going on to it than most social deduction games, because, of course, you've got your secret role that nobody knows. Although I think, if I remember right, I think everybody knows who the High Priest is. I'm almost positive everybody knows who the High Priest is. Let's move on to some role-playing game news, because there is a new bundle of holding that's arrived, and it features the 5th edition of the Hero system. Here's the skinny on the savings. Hero! This new Hero System 5e Mega Bundle brings you a colossal array of tabletop role-playing PDFs, and they use the 2004 5th revised edition of the all-encompassing Hero system from Rio Games. Across 4 decades, starting as the classic superhero RPG Champions, and later moving into fantasy, science fiction, pulp, and every other genre, the endlessly flexible Hero system remains a standard for adventures of larger-than-life characters and a consistent rules framework. This monumental new offer gathers nearly 3 dozen PDFs from the 5e line, the complete Fred rulebook itself, all the core supplements, all the genre campaign books, and dozens of source books for Fantasy Hero, Star Hero, and Pulp Hero. Many titles appear here for the first time in any bundle of holding. Get 6,800 pages of top-quality Hero tools for an unbeatable bargain price. For just $29.95, you get all 16 titles in this offer's Hero 5e Core Collection, which have a retail value of $176.50, as DRM-free PDFs, including Fred and Sidekick, the Bestiary, Combat Handbook, Equipment Guide, and Vehicle Sourcebook for 5e, all 7 genre toolkits, and the Resource Kit and Map Archive. If you pay more than the current threshold price of $41.25, you'll also get this offer's entire bonus collection with 19 more PDFs worth an additional $162.50, including 9 Fantasy Hero supplements, 5 Star Hero source books, 4 Pulp Hero books, and You gotta have character. That's the name of the book. These savings run through January 10th. 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Direct Relief. I gotta say, this is a monster-sized bundle. Although, I am kind of surprised it's the 5e. Now, I understand 6th edition Hero has been out for a while. Not a long time, but it's been out for a while. I'm just kind of surprised. Now, granted, I have no idea what kind of differences there are between 5th edition and 6th edition. Maybe not much. But, like I said, we're talking 6,800 pages for less than $42. That is a smoking deal. Flaming Heron says that they were going to mention this the other day, but they figured it just launched, so you're going to talk about it tonight. Yes, that's right. A lot of times I don't get the info about bundles of holding, new bundles, until they've been out a day or two. Unless I stumble across something, then I, post it right away and, share it on the news right away. But yeah, this is another one that kicked off, and then I didn't get the email about it until the next day. So that's usually why there's a little bit of wait time between the launch of the latest bundles of holding and me sharing them with you on the show. So Clint says big PDF. No, there are multiple PDFs, Clint, not just one. Yep. Can't wait to open up this 2 gigabyte file. Oh, what a disaster that would be. It's bad enough when you have a poorly formatted PDF. It's like 200 meg. And you're like, oh, come on. Come on. And I don't have cheapo, crappy computers either. I've got some pretty top-notch electronic equipment there, computing power. Madman says the thrilling Hero Adventures pick reminds them of an Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've seen the name before. Pelekidar series book cover. I actually shared this because I thought it was kind of a cool image. So Flaming Heron says, imagine printing all that out. Man, all the money you saved by getting the PDFs would be lost if you printed it all out. Moving right along, arriving in January from Darrington Press is the Tal'Dorei campaign setting Reborn for 5th edition D&D. Here's the scoop. The hit series Critical Role first explored Tal'Dorei, a fantasy-filled land brimming with tales of heroes and wonder through the epic adventures of Vox Machina. I'm not sure if that's how they pronounced it or not. That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. But just like I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing Tal'Dorei correctly either, because I don't watch Critical Role. Now players everywhere can live the magic and stories that rival the beloved show. Soar on a skyship from the metropolis of Emon to the distant haven of Whitestone. Venture into wilderness rife with terrifying monsters and wayward mages, and uncover magic items that range from simple trinkets to the legendary vestiges of divergence. Or vestiges, I should say, of divergence. Explore dazzling new subcultures and backgrounds in your epic adventures in the world of Exandria and beyond. Tal'Dorei campaign setting Reborn, say that 5 times fast, holds a wealth of playable content, lore, and artwork to inspire. The adventure begins here. Reborn contains everything needed to unlock the rich setting of Tal'Dorei and make it your own. A guide to each major region with story hooks to fuel your campaign. Expanded character options, including 9 subclasses and 5 backgrounds. Magic items such as the Vestiges of Divergence, pronounce that correctly this time, legendary artifacts that grow in power with their wielders, dozens of creatures, many featured in the Critical Role campaigns, new lore and updated stat blocks for each member of Vox Machina, a gorgeous 18-inch by 24-inch fold-out map of the Tel'Darai continent by cartographer Andy Law. Mark your calendars for Tel'Darai campaign setting Reborn is arriving on January 18th. You'll find it first at Critical Role shops and Darrington Press guild stores, followed soon after at friendly local gaming stores, and it'll carry an MSRP of $49.99. This book is also getting the deluxe treatment from the fine folks over at Beetle and Grimm's. That's going to release on January 30th, and it features its own stunning in-world player handouts, maps, a GM screen, jewelry. Yes, you heard me correctly. And more. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the core book from Darrington Press. So if you're a big fan of Critical Role and you liked, I think, wasn't this their first campaign? Isn't this the location of the first campaign they did on Critical Role? Like I said, I don't watch it. If I got no beef with it, except for, that's really not how role-playing games actually take place. But I mean, I don't have any beef with it. You have people that love watching it, and that's great. I just don't watch, so I don't know really anything about it. So I probably mispronounced the title of this book anyway. So there's some discussion and chat about people who print up PDFs. Hopefully they're the print-friendly versions. I couldn't even imagine. That kind of reminds me of a funny story. My best friend Elliot's daughter, I think at the time was maybe 9. She wanted a piece of brown paper, so she started printing up a solid sheet of paper with, a brown color to it. And Elliot lost his mind. It's like, what are you, insane? Because we'll just go to the store and buy you some brown construction paper. You're using up $50 worth of ink for a sheet of paper. Moving on to my final news piece. Flaming Heron says they knew someone who printed out color PDFs, all those ones with black pages, like the Star Trek Adventures. It's like people, when they got the PDF, they were like, wait a second. It's like black background, white text on black background. And it was not very long afterwards that Modifius Entertainment released a printer-friendly edition. Okay, like I said, my final news piece. The 3rd edition of Hyperborea, or what's normally referred to as Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, which is now just being called Hyperborea. Well, it's arrived in PDF from Northwind Adventures. Here's the dope. Hyperborea is a role-playing game of swords, sorcery, and weird science fantasy. Weird science! So do we get, I almost said Kelly McGillis. It's not Kelly McGillis, who was in Weird Science. Geez, Jeff, come on. Can't remember who it is now. Anyway, Hyperborea is played with paper, pencil, dice, and most importantly, imagination. Participants include a referee and 1 or more players. Sounds like one of those newfangled role-playing games of some sort. The referee prepares and presents the adventure material, circumstances, challenges, quests, mysteries, etc. And the players create player characters, including fighters, magicians, clerics, thieves, and 22 possible subclasses, including barbarian, Berserker, Cataphract, Huntsman, Paladin, Ranger, Warlock, Cryomancer, Illusionist, Necromancer, Pyromancer, Witch, Druid, Monk, Priest, Runegraver, Shaman, Assassin, Bard, Purloiner, and Scout. The heroes of a Hyperborea game delve dungeons filled with horrifying monsters, lethal traps, and bewildering puzzles. They explore savage wilderness frontiers and dangerous borderlands. They probe ancient ruins and investigate cursed tombs. They match steel against sorcery and sorcery against steel. And they plunder for gold, gems, and magical treasure. Hyperborea is a flat earth realm hemmed in by the mystical Boreas, the north wind, and under the scarlet light of a bloated, dying sun. A la Dying Earth, like Jack Vance's stories. Its rolling seas spill eternal over the world's rim. This world is in a perpetual state of decay. It's populated by disharmonious men and women, hostile monsters, and weird alien beings. The setting is adaptable and can be used independently or in conjunction with other milieu, published or homebrewed. Indeed, Hyperborea might be just beyond the north wind of any campaign setting. There are 4 releases that are available right now for Hyperborea, 3rd edition. There is the 333-page player's manual, which is available at DriveThruRPG. These are all available at DriveThruRPG. The player's manual carries a price of $12. Yes, you heard me right. There's the 317-page referee's manual, which is also $12. There's the 38-page Hyperborea Atlas. I think it's a bunch of maps. I haven't actually taken a peek yet. That is $5. And then there is the 40-page adventure, The Late Trapper's Lament, for $10. Yes. 3rd edition Hyperborea has arrived. As a Kickstarter backer, because someone out in the audience was kind enough to actually give me the cash to back this because they wanted to know what I thought of it. I got these PDFs yesterday. Yes, Kelly LeBrock, thank you. Thank you, 245 Trioxin and Flaming Huron. That's who it was. Kelly LeBrock. Anyway, I'm pretty pumped. I started to take a peek at this last night, and it looks very cool. I know very little of ASSH, as it once was known. It's got a combat matrix, which I am not super big on. I get it. You know, I deal with it. But I was kind of surprised. Bane Kurz popped into chat. Wanted to wish us all happy holidays. Well, very happy holidays to yourself as well. 245 Trioxin is in chat with us, pointing out it was Kelly LeBrock. Well, although they said Kelly Brock, I knew what you meant. Flaming Heron got it right, though. All right. So, as I mentioned, wow, you've got 2 core books, over 300 pages each, and they're each $12 in PDF over at DriveThruRPG. So, speaking of DriveThruRPG, keep in mind the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So, if you are going to visit DriveThruRPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you like the channel, if you like thegaminggang.com, if you dig what the team and I do, by all means, you can always buy me a cup of coffee or some soda by swinging on over to paypal.me/the gaming gang. And thankfully, a lot of folks out there use the drive-through banners, and other folks pop in and make a small donation from time to time. It is much appreciated. It truly is. All right, that was it for the news tonight. So, a couple of things. First off, I have almost everybody set up as far as the 50/50 holiday auction that I did. There is one person still out there, and I do not see them in chat. So, Russell Higgins, if you watch this video, you got to reach out to me from an email address that is not sbcglobal.net. For some reason, they're blocking the IP of my mail server. I have no clue why, because no one else does. Don't know. And I know it's AT&T who owns that domain for email now. But even Hotmail doesn't block my email. So kind of strange. My dad had sbcglobal.net, and I was like, you are getting rid of that email. I'm like, setting it up with Gmail, for crying out loud. And of course, this was long after SBC Global had gone out of business. Anyway, but if everybody is on board as far as making their payments for things they bid on, we will have raised $325 for Extra Life for Kids, or Extra Life. I know they like to go by, sometimes they go by Extra Life for Kids. And it will benefit the Anne and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago. So we will take care of that once everything's in. So, like I said, it was a 50/50 auction. Half of whatever was bid is being donated to Extra Life. So what I might end up doing is I might actually have my brother make the donation into the page for the gaming gang. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can actually just donate into my own page. I think that looks weird. So Clint says, dang, Russell outbid me. I'll get it for his bid if he doesn't answer by Friday. Well, there you go. Clint's making the rules now. Flaming Aaron says, nice one. I would have liked to have seen more, but it is what it is, right? I was like, okay. I thought, well, we didn't get to do a live stream, like we've done a couple of times in the past where we did 12 hours of gaming. So I wanted to do something. And a couple of folks have emailed asking, well, what are you going to do with all the stuff that nobody bid on? It's going to go up on eBay. So what I'm thinking of doing after the holidays is every week, maybe put 5 items up on eBay, because I don't want to be stuck, shipping stuff out constantly. But I think every week I'll do like 5 items, and whatever I make off of those, I am going to look to buy old D&D modules, because I was going to do a series of videos talking about old Advanced Dungeons and Dragons modules, but I think with PDFs it'd be awfully boring. But if we had the actual modules themselves, that might be a little bit different. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll see. So Clint says, yeah, his whole bid card. Clint's going to get everything he bid on. Flaming Huron points out they would have liked to have helped out, but yes, they live down under, and shipping to Canada was nuts. I was like, are you kidding? Actually, shipping everywhere was just astronomical. Unless you had something that'll fit in, like the priority mail flat rate, then you save a little bit. But good luck getting board games in those boxes. I think even the one large box they've got, it's pretty tough to fit most games into them. Either they're too short or they're too low. Because I know I've tried doing it from time to time. So Clint says, "Oh, I just got back into old D&D mods. Make it fresh again." Yeah, I've been considering maybe even attempting to get my hands on an original D&D box set. I knew probably be beat to shit, but because I can't afford one that's pristine. Although I got to be honest, I wouldn't mind just picking up the reprint that Wizards of the Coast did, that special reprint box that they put out. Although I think that's like $250, $300 on the secondary market. I know I'm kicking myself because I was like, yeah, you know what? I should pick one of those up. Even though I actually had the box set back in the day, the OD&D, as most people refer to it. I did not have the brown box, but I did have the white box, which I think that was 77, 78-ish that came out. Don't recall exactly. All right, so that was the first thing. Other thing, I actually had an opportunity to see the new Spider-Man film this afternoon. I'm not going to spoil it like my sister-in-law did when I went over to my brother's house before we went. It's like, what part of I have not seen this movie yet and have avoided reading any spoilers for this? Do you not get? It was all right. It wasn't a major spoiler. But yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. My brother's basically saying he thinks that it's the best Marvel film ever. I disagree. I personally didn't think it was as good as Endgame or Civil War. But I still thought it was a really good movie. But there were things that came, popped up, like supposed to be big surprises. Didn't shock me at all. A couple things I was like, yeah, I knew that was coming. All right. So Clint says that All That Glitters was their favorite treasure hunt. They'd love to play that again. Flynn here says, I hate those people who spoil things. I know. Daniel Civil, how about I talk before I try to drink and talk at the same time? Daniel Silverthorne has joined us. Says they bought it at a game store after a Stanford Cal game when they were a kid. White box D&D, of course. I had to laugh. I was gaming with somebody about a month ago who I did not know. And they were talking about original Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, I had the original D&D. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. I said, was it in a white box or was it in a brown box? And he said, what are you talking about? It was in a blue box. I was like, that's not original D&D. I was like, that was basic. That was the original basic. I want to say it was the blue. Yeah, I think it was the Blue Holmes edition that came in that blue box and had that blue book. But I had to laugh. They're like, oh, I had the original D&D. And the way they said it was like, no. It's kind of like, hang on, let me get the pin out. Just deflate you a little bit. I didn't say it meanly. It was just, it's kind of like, okay, being like, oh, hoity-toity. Oh, I had the original D&D. You peon. You pissant. It's like, okay. All righty then. So let's move along here. Because tonight I am going to take a first look at Valeria Card Kingdoms 2nd Edition from Daily Magic Games. It's designed by Asias, probably mispronouncing that, Viejo, probably mispronouncing that as well, with artwork provided by the Miko, which I'm not going to pronounce the Miko's real name because I can't pronounce that either. The game is for 1 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, plays around 30 to 45 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $35 when it arrives in January. We are also going to look at the big storage box as well as the playmat that is a double-sided playmat. They're both going to be arriving in January as well. But first off, we are going to dive on into Valeria Card Kingdoms, second edition. A little print down there. The kingdom of Valeria is once again under attack from legions of undead, goblins, and many more nightmarish creatures. The king of Valeria, in his old age, lacks the strength to protect our great kingdom. In Valeria Card Kingdoms, you play a duke or duchess with the power to hire citizens, buy domains, and slay monsters to bring peace to Valeria and become its next ruler. Each round, a player rolls the dice to see which citizen powers are activated for everyone at the table. On your turn, use your actions to recruit citizens for their ongoing benefits, buy domains for their unique powers, or slay monsters for rewards and victory points. Do you have what it takes to outwit your opponents and become the next ruler of Valeria? All right, let's open this baby up. I got to say, this does sound a lot like the Valeria Dice Kingdoms, which I did a Kickstarter preview of not that long ago. And I thought it was a very interesting, cool little game. I think this might be a little heftier in experience. Doug Roberts has joined us. It's been a while since we saw Doug. Good to see you, Doug. All right, so we have the rule book. We'll take a peek at here. We got some decks of cards. We got some stuff that's wrapped up. Looks like more decks of cards in there as well. Got some tokens, I think. So the story of Valeria, I won't read it because it's probably very, very similar to what I just read off the back. So we show our game material. We have 226 cards. Got some dividers, double-sided game tokens. Got a couple of 6-sided dice, which obviously enough, if you're rolling to activate your citizens' powers in that, then you're going to be using dice. Got some player boards. Got some tokens as well. So it says create the center stacks. So these are the rules for the 2 to 4 player game. Monsters, citizens, and domains are arranged in a grid of 4 rows by 5 columns to form the center stacks. Other stacks, tokens, and markers are placed around the center stacks after they've been set up. All right, so these are the monsters, it looks like, up top. Got domains down here. So those are citizens. I think these are citizens as well. So then it gives you a breakdown of how you're going to seed these stacks. So we have first row's monster cards, second row citizen cards. Looks like the third one is too. This is bottom row's 5 stacks. I should say, yeah, bottom row is 5 stacks of domain cards. Oh, so you're, yeah, okay, Jeff. They're stacks. They're not individual cards there. So you get an overview. We got the roll phase, the harvest phase. So if this is like the Dice Kingdoms, then when you roll your 2 dice, you get to activate citizens who have numbers on both the dice as well as the combined total of your dice. So Doug mentions they were just playing Cowboys 2 by Worthington Publishing. That was actually one of the games I had up in the auction. I gotta be honest, I did not care for it at all. That was just me. That's why you don't see a review of it, because I just, I don't feel good doing like reviews, ripping stuff. And that was going to get a pretty negative review from me. All right. So moving right along, we've got action phase. So you get to take 2 actions: slay a monster, gain a resource, recruit a citizen, or build a domain. Then we got our end phase. The end game conditions are met at the end of the turn if all the monsters have been slain, or all the domains have been built, or the number of exhausted stacks is equal to twice the number of players. Gotcha. So in our scoring is we get victory points for slain monsters, built domains, victory points on your player board, and victory points scored from your Duke or Duchess. So I'll get into more detail about slaying the monster, recruiting citizens, building your domains, card anatomy, giving us a breakdown of that. I am looking forward to playing this. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Whenever I'm talking about titles from Daily Magic Games, I've yet to run across something I did not like from Daily Magic Games. Now, I haven't played all of their games, but I've yet to find one that I thought was not at least a good game. So we got Monster Event variants, 5-player variant, Mixed Citizens variant, no Duke variant, Solitaire, yep, there we go, Solo. And then some card clarifications and important concepts. And then there are 4 expansions to this. Thus, that big box we're going to take a look at when we're done taking a peek at this. So that is the rule book. Let's see what we got wrapped in the bubble wrap. Then we got some player boards. Another deck of cards. We've got the dividers here. And then these are cut pretty well because it's popped right on out. So here we've got the player board. So we've got gold. This is usually magic. Blue is usually magic. I wonder if these are victory points from monsters or domains. Maybe these are from domains and these are from your monsters that you're going to track. And then we have plus 10 markers. So I don't know if you would use them in conjunction with this. Oh, no, I get it. Hang on. I can tell by the way this is cut. So if you have more than 10, you're going to put that on it and then just go back to like 11, 12, 13, and so on. Cool. So we've got 5 of these, I'm going to guess. Yes, we do, because there is a 5th player variant. So we've got some additional tokens here as well. I'm not sure what this is with the crest on it. Looks like we've got a couple of those. So another punch board with the counters here. Dual-sided. And then, I don't know, a couple of purple blocks. Okay. So we've got those. I don't think we really need to take a look at the dividers. Those back here. So we've got, that's kind of weird. Why would we have these if we've got these? Unless, I'm not aware of this being like a Kickstarter edition from Daily Magic, because I got to be honest, they just sent this out of nowhere. It just showed up. And they've done that a couple of times with some of their releases. So maybe this is a Kickstarter edition that actually had the wooden tokens. that's a possibility. All right, and then we got 3 decks of cards. Duke cards, citizen cards. I like the insert. It's a pretty cool insert. I believe that big box has well, I know it's got an insert in it, but I think it's a pretty detailed insert. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. It's gotten awfully quiet in chat. It's probably disconnected. The stream has stopped. I'm talking to myself. Okay, so these are all citizens here. Looks like we've got a few different decks. In this one here, you can kind of tell by the color peeking through. Okay, so these are Duke cards. I'm taking a guess. Maybe this is... No, maybe not. There's got to be more Duke cards because there's only 3. Oh, yeah. Right here, I bet you. That looks like same sort. Everybody's looking up old D&D products on eBay. Yeah, they've all tuned out, according to 245 Trioxin. They're like, I have taken a peek at the secondary market. There is, well, we'll talk about that. I'll wrap up the show talking about that. I feel kind of weird talking about old D&D while we're looking at this new game. Okay, so here are the exhausted cards that we just replaced. No doubt the stacks. When you run out of cards in a stack, you're just going to plop down an exhausted card, I assume. So here are the domain cards. More citizens. Okay. Yeah, because these are... Oh, wait a second. Okay, so these are exhausted. Wow, okay, so this looks kind of weird. So we've got the same thing on both sides. Got the crest of Valeria. But then we've got some exhausted cards that seem to have like a negative event or an enemy corrupted cleric, giant leech, bat swarm. I always like the artwork in the Valeria games too. Sorcerer, the mimic, and kobold thieves. It's kind of interesting. So I'm guessing these get mixed in. So I guess well, we'll find out because I'm probably going to play this. I want to say Christmas Eve. So we're doing a bit of a get together. All right, let's see what else we've got in this deck. We know we've got some dukes and duchesses. And it just appears that the dukes and duchesses just have kind of a special, like, secret scoring. Kind of have an objective, it looks like. Yeah, because it looks like these are different. How they score. Okay, so we've got starter cards. Player aid cards. Okay, so the icons, we had gold. Yep, okay. Strength was the red. Magic is the blue, just like I thought. And the other is victory points. Yeah, you know what? That's right. The purple are victory points in the Valeria games. Okay, so we've got monsters. And we've got more Duke cards. So we have a total of 10. 10 Dukes. That's cool. I always like when we get additional options. I'm not a big fan when it's, let's say it's a 4-player game and they have different characters that you're taking on, and they give you 4 characters. So you've got Isabella the Righteous, Simon the Unclean. Looks like a Viking. Not even going to try to pronounce that name. Cornelius the Dreamer, Reese the Firebrand, and Elysium the Allsmith. So those are our dukes. What are these starter cards? Okay, so we've got peasant. Oh, I'm guessing each of the players is going to get these as our starter citizens. So we got 5 is a peasant, 6 is a knight. We have a herald. I think these are the starter citizens that we're going to have. All right. So speaking of citizens, let's take a look. Hey, peasant. I just started with a peasant, for crying out loud. So we got peasants, knights. The rogue is the 7 on the 2 6-sided dice, or thief. We got the champion, who is the 8, or the warlord. We've got the priestess, who's 9 and 10, or the paladin. Then we've got the butcher, 11 and 12, or the miner on 11 and 12. So we have the cleric is 1, as is the monk. Blacksmith for 2, and the merchant as well. I kind of get the impression, I think these are the prices, what you're going to pay to recruit them. So 3 is mercenary, or the alchemist. Archer is 4. And the wizard. Now we got our peasants again at 5. Very cool. Okay, so let's take a look at the domains. And I'm taking a guess, maybe, once again, that this is the cost to actually settle that domain. Grimwater Keep, Palace of the Dawn, Emerald Stronghold, Cathedral of St. Aquila, Eye of Astraton, I don't know, the Desert Orchid, Blood Crow Army, Cloud Riders Camp, Foxgrove Palisade, Piloina's Parrot, Cutthroat's Truce, Dark Tide Harbor, Halfpenny Hill. Looks like that's where the hobbits would live. Oh, I'm sorry, halflings. Halflings. Sarah D's with us, as is Mr. Eddie T. So there's Clint says, dang, Mr. Eddie T got kicked to the other room tonight. I thought to be honest, I thought they always watch in separate rooms. Hey, Russell Higgins has shown up. Russell, you need to send me an email from an account that is not sbcglobal.net for the auction stuff. I keep getting bounced. So, Rogue's Landing, Pratchett's Plateau. I bet you that's a tip of the cap to Terry Pratchett. The Orb of Urdur, Watcher on the Water, Nest of the Weaver Witch, Monolith of Ostendar, Golden Obelisk of Nay. We have the Knights that say knee. The Violet Thorn, Gargon's Embrace, Shattered Hand, and Forgotten Sorrows. said, once again, very cool artwork. Very cool artwork. Yeah, see, Sarah says Eddie and her usually watch in different rooms. So those are the domains. Okay. So we've got the various decks. And of course, you eventually just put them in here with your dividers, but I'm just going to put them back like they popped out. There we go. This looks fun. And it looks like it might be a little bit meatier than the roll and write game, the Valeria Dice Kingdoms. So, other thing I should point out, Russell, if you are still interested in the miniatures, got to let me know. So, I don't know if you noticed I had actually fixed that because I had the picture of the Dystopia Wars, the old out of print. Well, I guess it's back in print now from a different company. I had the picture of the minis and that and forgot to put them down as something you can bid on. All right. So that is Valeria Card Kingdoms. So we're going to take a look at this big box. So I can tell you right now is empty. So give you an example of the size here, right? So this is a pretty kind of standard size game box. So this is really big. And it is for storing all your cards from all the expansions. Now, something I should point out. Russell Higgins says, bubble wrap in a card game. I'm on board. Clint says he's driving a wedge between Sarah D and Mr. Eddie T. Stop it, Clint. Stop that. Holiday season, for God's sake. Right. So let's get this open here. These kind of boxes are usually kind of a pain, although this is actually opening pretty easily. There you go. So that is the first portion of it. That is the second portion of it. I'd say the plastic is okay. I could see the plastic tearing pretty easily if you're not careful with it. So that's something to keep in mind. The MSRP on this box is $30, which I'm sorry, not $30, $35, which I thought was kind of weird because it's just an empty box and it has the same MSRP as the core game does. So I don't know. Sarah says, actually, she started watching tonight's episode because she could hear Eddie watching and it sounded interesting, as opposed to other episodes that just sound god awfully boring. Sarah's like, I'm going to just continue watching Columbo in here. That's what my sister-in-law does. Sarah says she's more of a PC gamer. Nothing wrong with that. So am I. All right. So the other thing we're going to take a look at here is the playmat. And this is dual-sided. Okay, so we've got different locales. I don't know if these are from like an expansion or something. Here, let's center that up better. Or not. Okay, so I can tell. Okay, so this is where we put our stacks out. Put the stacks out here. So we've got 4x5. And then, like I said, we've got another side here. I don't know if it's based on how many players there are or if it's for expansions or something like that. I don't know. But I do like it nice, thick mouse pad material. I always forget what they call it. So Clint's in rare form tonight. He's like taking everybody on. Says he and Russell Higgins are now mortal enemies because he got outbid on Rise of the Drow. Damn you, Russell Higgins. Been outbid again. Clint says he's the Grinch confronting everyone. Okay, so this what is it? Polystyrene or something like that they call it. God, I swear. I just replaced the other material, the kind of grayish material, because I wanted to kind of do just solid black as a background. Yeah, lots of luck down here at the Duct Tape Studios with the constant cat hair floating around and everything else. All right, so this playmat is available. I think normally the MSRP of the playmat is $20. If I remember correctly, I think it's on sale right now for $15. The large box, the storage box, I think is on sale for $30, if I remember correctly. So something to point out, if you go to the Daily Magic Games website, it's going to show this is sold out. I don't know if you can still get it from Daily Magic Games. It is not in stores yet. It hits stores in January. So it is possible that Daily Magic is sold out, but you can still get it from other online retailers or your friendly local game store. So it could be sold out, what they consider to be at the distributor level. It's sold out. Something else I noticed is Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria, which just came out not that long ago. Can't be more than 2 months. That sold out again. It's going to be coming to Kickstarter in October of next year for another print run. That's a good game too. That one I also did a Kickstarter preview. All right. So once again, this is Valeria Card Kingdoms 2nd edition. It is for 1 to 5 players, ages 13 and up. Plays around 30 to 45 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $35 when it makes its way into stores next month. And of course, I will have a review of Valeria Card Kingdoms in the very near future. All right, let's swing back on over to the other camera here. So what's cooking on tomorrow's show? Well, I am going to unbox. We're going to take a first look at Undaunted reinforcements from Osprey Games. Last week, we took a peek at Undaunted North Africa. Now we're going to look at the this box is bigger than the other 2 games. So this has expansions for both Normandy and North Africa. So very nice. This is something that I guarantee my nephew Cameron will certainly want to take a peek at. So that is on tomorrow's show. I was planning on taking the week between Christmas and New Year's off. But it's usually around that time of year that I do my favorite games of that year. So I usually break it up into 2 videos. I do my favorite board games, card games, things like that. And then I also do my favorite role-playing game products that came out in the year. And I usually do like 10 or 12 And I just, share a little bit about why I really like him. I might do it live. So if you would like to catch those, I would probably do Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the rest of the time off until the following Monday. So, which I think the next slated show after tomorrow's would have been the 3rd of January. But like I said, I'm kind of bouncing it around that and it's not really a top 10. And it's not like where I sit there and be like, oh, these are the best. It's just my favorites. So, and I usually do it like in alphabetical order. So it's not like I don't sit there going, and my number 1 game is. So if you would like me to do that, shoot it live, please comment in the comment section. If I don't see a lot of comments or anything, I'll just assume shoot it like I normally do. Just, down here by myself. Maybe with a cat or two. I also forgot to do is I forgot to bring down. Did I or didn't I? Hang on. Let me scan around. Yeah, I forgot to bring it down. What I'm going to cover in the first week of the Old School for the New Year celebration. That's right. We're going to take a look at old school inspired role-playing games all throughout the month of January. And we are going to kick off with Old School Essentials. So that is going to be our first week. So we are going to take a look at the Classic Rules Tome, because Advanced Fantasy is sold out everywhere. And the Kickstarted print run hasn't arrived yet. And it might not arrive until spring, I hear. So we're going to look at classic rules. We're also going to take a peek at Carcass Crawler, which is a zine dedicated to Old School Essentials. And I'm going to do my best to do an interview with Gavin Norman, the mastermind behind Old School Essentials. So that's going to be our first week of the Old School for the New Year here on the Gaming Gang Dispatch. Of course, we'll still have the news and everything as well. So the Madman will not be with us tomorrow night. So because it is game night, because it's a Wednesday. Well, here's hoping you and your family and all your fellow gamers have a wonderful Christmas, wonderful New Year as well, if I don't do the live show. So I might end up catching the Madman in the new year. So let's see. So Clint Russell are going on with that. Yeah. They're just goofing off. I know that. It's not a situation where it's like, oh, geez, somebody's really crazy down here. Some other things that we're going to take a look at as well, which I don't think I'll be doing it on the live shows because they don't actually. Because what I'm trying to do is devote a week, at least a week of shows, to a particular IP. So like Old School Essentials. But I've got Ultraviolet Grasslands. I have like an OD&D campaign book. It's like a zine as well. So I've got some kind of cool stuff that we're going to be taking a peek at. And of course, I've got a boatload of stuff for Adventurer Conqueror King. I really wish that Hyperborea 3rd edition had made it in time for the holiday season. But because of shipping and everything else, those physical books aren't going to make it to Kickstarter backers until I think it's the spring is what they're talking with that as well. All right. So that is it for this time out. Once again, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. Also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming review of the RuneQuest starter set from Chaosium Inc. If you're curious about it, don't miss out. That's going to be up this weekend. All right. Thank you, everybody who tuned in live. Always appreciate it. Of course, if you took part in chat, I doubly appreciate that. So I'm not just sitting by myself like a dork. Not to say I'm not a dork, but, you know, at least I wouldn't be sitting by myself. But I know there are a lot of people out there who don't have an opportunity to watch live. It doesn't matter to me how you watch. You could be watching on Memorex. I really, really do appreciate each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy lives. Just hang out and check out the videos on the Gaming Gang channel. Of course, I will be back tomorrow. Once again, we're going to take a look at Undaunted Reinforcements from Osprey Games. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. See you tomorrow. Oh, you're still here. Well, while you're kicking it, how about subscribing to the Gaming Gang channel? Or seeing the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch? Or finding out what YouTube recommends you check out here at my channel? And of course, don't forget, get your geek on at thegaminggang.com.